Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. You know, sometimes I wonder if the professor really wanted to get rescued from Gilligan's Island. I mean, think about all those great innovations he came up with while they were there. Using natural resources from the island, he came up with a Geiger counter and a lie detector, but he couldn't fix the boat. He also created a telegraph and a battery charger, but he couldn't fix the boat. He also made a hot air balloon and a washing machine, but he couldn't fix the boat. It's true, I'm wondering if he wanted to leave, because otherwise he'd have to fix the boat. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. In 1965, it was a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the Thunderbirds were go. This British sci-fi puppet show was developed by Jerry and Sylvia Anderson. They dubbed their productions Super Marionation, and those puppets were supersized in a way. They were literally a third of the size of a human being, which would have made it a little creepy. They had over 30 components built into their face and bodies to make them seem a little more realistic. The inspiration for the faces themselves were drawn off of real-life actors. For example, Jeff Tracy was based off Lorne Greene. Scott Tracy was based off Sean Connery. Alan Tracy was based off Robert Reed. Robert Reed? John Tracy drew his likeness from Charlton Heston. And Anthony Perkins was the inspiration for Brains, who was clearly no dummy. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans! On October 30th, 1964, episode 7 of my favorite classic TV show originally aired. It was called Halloween with the Addams Family. They made Halloween feel like Christmas the way they celebrated it. And they made the bank robbers that were on the run feel like it was Christmas too. Played by character actor Skip Homier and none other than Don Rickles, these two unassuming crooks thought they would enjoy the Halloween festivities with the Addams.
You are staying, aren't you?
And enjoy it they did, once Gomez assumed that their bag full of loot was what the neighbors were giving out for candy. So what does he do? He just fills it up with more money. Well, fortunately, Thing was on to these guys. So eventually he got things well handled. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. In the 1960s, a number of high-quality TV shows were imported from the UK. One such show starred Roger Moore as the Saint. This role was highly beneficial for Roger as it prepped him for a much bigger role he would take on in the 70s and 80s, when, as most of you know, he filled Sean Connery's shoes as James Bond. And in fact, Moore held down the role of 007 for longer than any other actor. He amassed 7 feature films as the secret agent. But did the writers for The Saint actually predict that Moore would become James Bond a decade earlier? Well, in a 1964 episode, a woman has a line where she actually mistakes Simon Templar for James Bond.
You really are James Bond.
As it turns out, during the filming of The Saint, Roger Moore reportedly had been offered the role of James Bond twice. So maybe it wasn't such a bold prediction after all. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Do you remember your first TV star crush? Well, I do. It was Juliett Mills. She played Nanny on Nanny and the Professor. Juliett started in film literally as a baby in the 1942 film In Which We Serve. That movie starred her father, literally acting royalty, Sir John Mills. Juliett's mother was novelist and actress Mary Haley Bell, aka Lady Mills. And you probably know of her younger sister, Haley Mills, who starred in many Disney films. When Juliett turned 16, she landed a stage role in the play Five Finger Exercise. When the show hit Broadway, she got nominated for a Tony Award. She then went on to work in feature films, as well as appearing in many classic TV shows. And it was around that time when she got the role of Phoebe Figalili in Nanny and the Professor. In 1974, Mills won a Primetime Emmy for her role in the miniseries QB7. Her lifetime of work is incredible, and so is she. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. You know what one of my favorite TV westerns was? The Rifleman. That show had great storylines and plenty of action. But what was even cooler was that father-son bond between Lucas and Mark McCain. Both actors Chuck Connors and Johnny Crawford were so good in their roles, and Crawford even got nominated for an Emmy. Connors continued his prominent acting career after the show, but more often than not, contrasting his Rifleman character by playing a bad guy. The original Mouseketeer Johnny Crawford had 4 top 40 singing hits during the making of the show. He continued on with some more TV appearances, but his love of music never left him. Eventually, he put together his own big band, the Johnny Crawford Orchestra. During the 5-year making of The Rifleman, actors Chuck Connors and Johnny Crawford created a true bond. And 30 years later, Crawford even delivered the eulogy at Connors' memorial. Now that's what I call a friendship forged in steel.